Talk Show.
It's the Daily Talk Show, episode 555.
And how's the Serenity, by the way?
It's beautiful.
We're at the Koonung Creek.
Yes, we are. Queen of Koonung.
We've got Queen of Koonung, Queen Gronk. God, you're ruling all the land,
Yeah.
aren't you?
I call myself Queen of Koonung when we see people I went to high school with, and my friends are like, you need to stop doing that, you wanker.
Why,
but
is
I
it-
am. If
is
you
it
know
a-
one person from Koonung, it's Gemma Watts.
Oh, Koonung, the school.
Yes.
Okay, no, I got that.
But not the creek.
I'm probably Queen of the Creek.
Yeah.
Nah,
So is there
my
a
dad's
connection?
the king of the Creek.
Any connection between the school and the creek?
Yeah, the school was named after the creek.
And why the hell are we at the creek?
Because I pushed for it. I really pushed for it. I reckon you did a Q&A a few days ago saying, where should we do the show from?
And Koonung
I
Creek
win.
came up.
You're still pushing. So this, to me, is 50 metres from my auntie's old house, and before the M1?
M3.
The M3, the highway, the motorway. Before that was open, we went down there onto the highway, and we're like carving our name on shit and throwing stuff around. So, yeah, this is we've all got some history here. Now Josh is making his history.
recently.
It's true. You've been, I don't know if you've been snorting coke or got sunscreen on.
No, it's been snorting coke. It's sunscreen.
No,
Sunscreen.
it does happen. But no, we've all got SPF 50 on.
Good.
So that's
Do
always
you?
important. Yeah, no, I do.
Good.
Um,
I've been bullying both of you.
no, it's an important thing to do.
Sebs.
I mean, is that what it takes these days? Bullying to get people to wear sunscreen?
If that's what it'll take. I appeal to my girlfriends just based on vanity, because I'm like, I'm going to look this age forever, and you're going to look like old witches,
And that's enough.
and that
appeal.
really gets them.
Well, we were probably speaking out of school the other day just about sunscreen
No,
and
you were
moles.
pretty good.
We were on
Because Sev's listened to my podcast.
yeah, and my wife was telling me about your podcast
And
and
she's lovely.
influencers, and they're kind of like I mean, you think about most influencers shots and they're tanning their bums on the beach, and so
It's not cool anymore to do that.
Well, no,
No.
it's.
I
Yeah,
used to do it in high school because I was
Did
like
you
an
do
you're
idiot.
just promoting it, so
Sure.
it's like
Yeah.
showing that you're doing that.
Yeah.
To
Sure.
then, which people, I mean, is that what people do? They see it and go, I want to tan my bum.
Yeah.
What's the point of sunbaking and having sunscreen on?
Well, there isn't one. They're two contradictory things. People go, oh, you can still get a tan through sunscreen, but if your skin's changing colour at all, it's your cells in trauma.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the title of today's episode,
It's-
Cells in
Cells.
Trauma. I mean, the thing is,
it's your body.
alcohol's a carcinogenic too.
I haven't heard of it. So it's your body like trying to fight off potential cancers when it changes colour.
Oh.
And why do you think we like the look of it? Because
I don't know.
It
it's
is
like
associated with health.
cover myself
Like,
in it.
I think, you know, you think about the older 50-year-old man who surfs every day and he's down the beach and he's always just happy. You think like, oh, he looks healthy.
Yeah, it's just a bit sexy to have a tan.
But what do you think it is? Like,
I don't. I reckon
why?
it's that like Elle McPherson beach babe thing. But you just look more toned and.
But is that culture?
Lean?
Is that culturally influenced?
Oh, very much so.
What about even going further back? Maybe it's a sign that you're out and about and you're hunting. And so the person who's got a sicker tan is spending less time on their computer and more time trying to catch.
Actually, no. There is an historical element to this because centuries ago, if you had a tan, it meant you were poor because you were obviously outside doing the outside grunt work.
Yep.
And that's
Then-
like the caste system, maybe, like the darker you are or whatever, the more you're spending on farms. I think that's the thing.
And then that changed because it meant if you had a tan, you had the money to take a holiday. So I think that's
well,
where it's
then
at
you
now.
look at being fat in
Puppies.
some Asian countries is a sign of wealth. China is
Yeah,
it Chinese?
I do. Well,
Yeah. I've got a lot of cash. Or
Oh,
just eat
yeah,
shit
And I
food.
got light-coloured eyes, so they just lose it.
You have the money to buy the food.
Isn't it funny,
Yeah.
like you're going to Thailand or whatever and you see the skin bleaching products?
Yeah, that makes me feel a bit.
What do they actually do? Has there ever been a stage that Australians have seeked that, or is there a market for it?
No and no.
Yeah.
What is it? Bleaching skin?
Well, it's the opposite to false tanning.
So it's going white.
Yeah.
I've heard of bleaching your asshole through Kanye West's song.
Yeah.
What song?
I've never understood
Yeah.
that.
Really?
No.
I guess it comes off the back of 97's motto or whatever, and just wanting to make sure it looks good
I
potentially.
mean, how often are people looking at their asshole?
Yeah.
Put your hand up if you've done it in the
but
last 5 days.
Have you cleaned it?
Looked at your arsehole.
Oh, okay. No. I regret doing that. No, but I don't know. Maybe it's
Who's sitting in the mirror? Who's bending over in the mirror?
I guess there's an element.
I've been bending over in the bathroom, but
no, but I guess that's putting tan on.
No, post Christmas.
yeah. In the
so.
fetal position.
How many times are you having to actually do your tan during the Christmas season?
Well, here's the thing. There's like not a meme isn't the word, but a thing going around the internet because it's like a very stressful time because you want to tan, but you also, if you want to reapply it, you want to exfoliate. In the meantime, you are going to fall into the fucking creek.
I'm living on the edge. I'm sitting on the sort of ledge behind us is the water.
Way to go.
If you're not watching.
Yeah, it's very stressful, but I'll probably, I tanned a few days ago, but I was a bit drunk when I did it, and then I'll just top it up before New Year's, I guess.
What do you reckon the biggest misconception is about you?
Oh, I think they're probably all pretty accurate. I'm a bit of a wanker.
Someone
hates my accent. It's too pretentious.
Oh, you read that in a piece of feedback on a podcast?
But
it's
a review. I don't
know.
I reckon my voice is a bit bogan, but I suppose not.
I mean, I think your quirk, if we've been talking about quirks lately, your quirk is to blatantly big up yourself, which I think is one of the best quirks because not enough women, for one, but not enough people do it.
Yeah, no, that's accurate.
And so it's where does that come from? Mama?
No, not my parents at all.
Well, I think people think...
I don't want to get deep. It's from getting bloody bullied in primary school. And then I was like, all right.
Well, I was going to say, I think some people might not see the humour in you doing it.
Oh, they don't.
And then they think it's an insecurity thing is why you're doing it.
I don't think anyone thinks I'm insecure. I think they just think I'm a bit of a wanker, which is fair.
Could be a bit of both.
A wanker and
I'm
insecure?
actually not insecure at all.
Really?
Nah.
Where do you think, because you were talking about the bullied stuff.
Yeah.
So that when you were bullied, you then needed to correct that.
I was shy. I was a real easy target.
So what were you like? I'm curious because you do have like a vibe to you.
What is it? Explain it.
Yeah.
What is his vibe?
I don't know.
Was it you that wrote that comment?
No, but it's just like,
Yeah, I just don't know.
It's just like, it's just like there's a Gemma. There's like a presence that like this contract, that contract. It's like it's all really good.
Yeah. I just have a nice time all the time.
Yeah, but so if you're quieter, what did that look like?
Well, so much so in prep, they thought there was like something wrong with me. On my report, they were like, "We think Gemma's a bit socially not okay."
Really?
Because I would ask to stay in the classroom at lunchtime.
You were planning your launch.
Yeah,
your personality launch.
I was like, all right.
Really? So what?
I was really honing this branding.
When did that change?
Probably grade 3. It was, It gradually after. Mum and Dad got me to start dancing when I was 3 because they thought, she'll just do it for like a term and then she'll get bored, but it'll hopefully get her out of her shell.
So the stage unlocked you?
Yeah, I reckon. And then
Would you do like theatre games or something, or like what was the?
I did not at dancing.
Yeah.
We did at school. I never loved theatre sports. I don't love improv.
Really?
Why?
Pressure.
For it to be perfect, or pressure just to come up with something?
Yeah, the latter.
The coming up with stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, you've heard Mr. 97.
I have.
Should we do it?
No, we're not doing it. I shouldn't have said anything.
You did
no,
mention
but
it.
I mean, being in a moment. What about like ad-libbing is life? You're in a business meeting.
Ad-libbing is fine. I don't know. There's just something about theatre sports.
Okay,
and
so
I
when
think I've built up in my head that like in that environment I'm the funny one.
Yeah.
Which may not be the case, but I'm like pressure.
Yeah.
And then if you're focusing on delivering a gag, it's going to fall flat 100%.
So because you were giving me advice.
What's the temperature in the room?
Yeah, if you plan it too much.
But you're going to be willing to try.
But also the other thing too is, whilst that temperature in the room joke didn't go down well at the Nando's
but that was your
event,
delivery.
But think about how well it did at F500, and that's the thing. So it's sort of like
because you were looser.
Yeah.
I mean, I see but I think it's more on brand for us to spread something across multiple episodes instead of like, so you start
it's
it
a
there.
slower burn.
Most things, like the journey's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The punchline's not necessary. Like you got to have all the context.
Yeah.
So you could say that you were leading up to the Ep 500.
Yeah. Do that.
Yeah, it was all a lead up, I guess.
But then that's life. We're kind of like letting it unravel. But you got to find the humour in life. I think you do that quite well.
I think so. Thank you very much.
You're quite self-deprecating, do you think?
Yeah, that's on brand for me.
Self-deprecation.
Were there many people that kissed down here? It's got the vibe that you'd sort of go and walk down like was that a thing with kids? Like, no? It was?
Yes.
Yeah.
What else?
I didn't do anything else down here.
But it has that hot
kissing.
spot. What is with
but
young
more
people?
Elgar Park, not here. You'd go and have a drink in Elgar Park. I didn't really drink in Elgar Park. I would drink in Springfield Park because it was closer to the friends. Everyone's got the friend where we could drink there.
Yeah.
Was your family that or no?
No, I thought I was so clever. I'm like, they have no idea. It's since emerged that they were fully aware, and all of the mums knew. They were like, we'll just send her to Cassie's. We're fine.
The safe environment.
Yeah.
Do you want kids?
Yeah, eventually. I'm not clucky at all. Never have been. But
you still think you want kids, even though the cluck factor's not there.
Yeah.
Cluck factor.
Like them.
Cluck factor.
I'm just not really maternal.
Mm-hmm. So
My friends think I'm weird.
So does that then ever? Do you need to be maternal to have a kid?
My parents weren't.
Really?
Mum wasn't.
So do you think that the best time in your life with your parents is now? Because now you're just mates?
Housemates.
I've been housemates with them I've always got along pretty well with them.
Yeah.
We have a good relationship. Amy said that I'm the argument for having Bodhi as an only child.
Yeah, and Bodhi's heavily influenced that too. Having a child like Bodhi. But
I kept saying to my parents they had one perfect child, so they were like, we don't need any more. And they were like, no, you're a nightmare.
Were you?
Nah, I was pretty good. I'm just a show off. It's like even when I was shy at school, at home, I'd be like, let's do a music video.
Did you have many friends in school?
Yeah, I've always been social.
Uh-huh.
Are you close with friends from high school, like primary school?
Primary school, mother's group. That I'm going to MC.
Hang on, what's mother's group?
When you have like a new baby and then
I know,
they'll put
but I'm
you
trying
into
to work out how this relates to you.
what
Do you go
other
to mother's
babies
group?
from the mother's group.
It's sort of like a big thing, like the.
I go to
your
mother's group
kids-
to hang out with other people.
No, not Amy, my wife, who has a baby's been to mother's
that's
group.
why I
I'm
was
trying to
so
work out.
confused. No,
So back in the day, I feel like it was more of an old school thing, but the mother's group was such a big thing that you ended up becoming friends with all the kids in the mother's group and all that sort of thing.
So we still go on, like mum and dad are still best friends with some of the other parents.
Okay, sorry, now I'm seeing the
and
connection.
two of my best friends are from mother's group.
Oh, so you met some of your besties at mother's
Yeah.
group. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's
Which is
great.
quite. Did you have that? Did you have friends that were out, like family friends?
Yeah, but never ended up being close with them.
I'm going to MC my best mate from mother's group's wedding next year.
That's amazing. That's great.
I said to him, I'm either your best man or I'm your MC, and he's like, well,
MC.
yeah, my brother's my best man, so get fucked.
Have you thought about? We're going to have you on for Christmas Day, which is a bunch of fun with Human Periscope and Scooter Derek.
I've heard of them.
Which we're excited about. But 2020, we've spoken about it a lot. It seems like December for me, I get very sort of in my head about what I want to do. I know that you don't. This is.
But I've
you
set
are
a
a massive
resolution.
You're a contradiction.
I know. I am.
The biggest contradiction because you're someone that's don't think about anything. Everything's. But I'm very strategic.
No, okay, so here it is.
She's planning the launch.
Everything I'm
1.
doing, like I've always got like the longevity of the business in the back of my head, but I don't like concrete goals necessarily.
Sure.
So you don't want to tell people your goals, or are you working on your goals?
No, it's what Zoe said when you had her on. She was like, as long as you're doing good work in the moment, then more like good things will come.
What does good work count as?
Just work that you're proud of, I think.
It's no, because I understand what you're saying. For someone like Zoe, she's well into it.
Yeah.
So she's super successful, and you've
But you say to her, what do you think the brand will look like in 5 years? And she's like, hopefully good.
But I mean, for anyone, it's like, if you don't have a brand like Zoe's, it's a completely different conversation. Meaning, you've got to have the vision of creating that thing.
Well, I think the other thing is that so many of like the really great things that have happened in my business in the last year, the 3 years since I started, a lot of them weren't opportunities that existed when I started, if that made sense.
So
I didn't want to set myself like this concrete goal because I know I'm the type of person that would then become like really singular in my focus.
You could be in VR next year. You could be doing all virtual reality
Possibly.
stuff. You could be. Let's go back to when we met for the first time.
Yeah.
One thing
get rid of me.
One thing I remember is your Pauline Hanson impersonation.
No, that was Sandra Sully.
No, you did Pauline Hanson. It stuck out to me.
Really? I don't remember it.
I don't think find that.
Oh, no, not on the show. This was when we met in that hotel room.
I met.
That sounds dodgy.
I met Josh and Bree before that.
Yeah, that's right.
2 weeks
at a Ferreo.
Yeah, because they were like, who can we get to like plant with product? Who will go along with it? And they're like, Gemma will do it.
And so it was for Ferreo, which is like a brand that does like skincare stuff. They're very good into like the electronic silicon.
I still use all of their stuff all the time.
And so we
plug.
Yeah, so we had that event or whatever, but then we also did this the hotel thing where we met at which hotel was it called? What was it called? Pullman.
One near MCG.
Hilton.
Yeah. And so we went there, had a camera set up. The funny thing is, isn't it funny first impressions of people? Because my first impression on you was like, I think maybe through the confidence or whatever that you had, I just assumed you were way older.
Oh, yeah, I get that all the time.
But the thing is, like, you don't look old.
Bride.
You don't look old. But, so I just thought...
child bride.
I do.
And also because Bree...
I'm actually 110.
And Bree had talked you up so much as well. So it's like, for someone who's done all of this stuff, like, I just assumed that you were, like, you'd been around the traps forever.
Well, everyone thinks that because I started working... like in this when I was 18, so they just think I've existed for a very long time. But this is a shit thing about being 27 now. Before 27, I'm sorry,
I nearly fell forward,
stressed.
falling backwards. Look at my toes; they're curled around. There's no going in.
Is this worth it?
Yeah, look.
Jeez,
Oh,
no.
that's not going to hold
do
you.
more. Do one back crunch. Here we go, all the way down, all the way down, and then up. Yeah, that's
Easy.
quite good.
Jesus.
And I get another one.
Let's look at look at my legs.
Oh my God.
Wrapped around. Hang on, I'm just going to check something. Go on.
What are you looking at?
You're right. When I get off mic, you're meant to continue talking so it doesn't look as weird.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry. Before 27, everyone was like, oh my God, you're so young, but you've done so much. And now I'm 27, and they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Are you funny about age?
Nah, not in the slightest.
If I felt you were funny, I wouldn't have said it. I would have asked you like that.
Nah, I reckon I've done a shit ton for 27.
Giving it a fair crack.
Yeah,
So
giving it a fair crack, a red hot go.
I interrupted you when you were saying 2020. So what does 2020 look like? If you were to put the strategic thing,
a lot more.
Give us what you want. Give us the 5-year roadmap.
Well,
I've been
doing a lot of emceeing in the last 12 months, and that's my favourite thing. So the more of that I can do, the happier I will be, because that's like how I recharge, just talking to a large group of people. Sure. But I think I've carved a nice little niche for myself. I think in the last, because when I started working for myself, I was like, I'll do fashion, I'll do beauty, I'll do strategy, I'll do whatever anyone needs me to do.
The daily talk show whenever we want.
Yeah.
Which I'm talking, hanging out with my mates. And then in the last probably 18 months, I've really honed in the clients I'm working with, what work I'm doing. That I think I've really streamlined it. So I feel like I'm on the right path now. People know what I'm doing. So it's, does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, you actually didn't have your podcast Glow Journal until after we did our first episode. Or maybe it was just after. I feel like there was a real...
I started in...
November? Last year?
End of September.
End of September. And I think we had you on beginning of October. I think that was... We had in mind, we want to get Gem on. I had just come back to Australia, had I?
Yeah, you did.
And then we saw that you're doing the podcast, and so then we got you on. I mean, you can see how much things can change in regards to podcasting being the big thing. And
well, that's been a nice thing, because my favourite thing about journalism, even when I was doing fashion, was the interviewing part of it. I loved interviewing designers and hearing about the business side of it. And then whenever I would go to an event or do anything for the website where I get to speak to a brand founder, I was like, this is the good stuff. This is where I feel like I'm actually doing good work that I can be proud of. And then I thought I need somewhere to host said conversations. And there was a gap for it in Australia. There were so many good podcasts of the same nature coming out of the US and the UK, but none in that space out of Australia.
How, in terms of your audience, has it gone overseas, or do you think
the UK in particular? I don't know if that's because I've got a lot of friends that have moved there and they're whoring me out, but a lot of my guests have been from the UK, so then they will share it on their platforms, and then got a big one to open season 2 with.
That you've recorded?
Yeah, I've got to combine it. So, are you familiar with One Direction?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the sister of Louis Tomlinson has a tanning brand, and Lottie owns it, and then Lou Teasdale, who's One Direction's like hair and makeup girl, she's the creative director. So they've got a combined, I think, 16 million followers. So I'm opening season 2 with that fun interview.
Plus her brother could just give it a quick little tweet.
Well, they don't get to talk about the business side of it often, so I think they appreciated that it wasn't a conversation of like, what are your travel makeup essentials?
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Isn't it so weird that we've all met?
Yeah, I often think that. I thought that I really thought about it 400 episodes in, and I think I did a nice post.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's funny
like
thing.
we've become good friends. We call each other. We hang out, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like people like Pete and all that sort of like it's actually like through the podcast.
Yeah.
We've been able to actually because I guess you think about these things and you think, okay, like we get people on and all that sort of thing, but it's actually become more than that, which is cool.
This won't make sense to any of you, but it's nice having male friends. Like a different, because I'm such a girl's girl. It's like a nice.
The boys?
The boys.
You like having the boys.
Yeah. I mean, I've never had the boys, and so this is my first time as well. So I sort of, like it.
The boys, yeah.
I've probably got higher tetestosterone than all of you. I really believe that. Maybe that's 2020. Gemma does it.
I'd love that. I'd love to use the resources of Medicare once again.
Yeah. To really.
Yeah, 2020. Do you actually look forward in your business and think, I want to make X amount of dollars?
Because my accountant every year looks at my books and goes, I'm very proud of you. So I want him to keep saying that.
And
that's
so buying the house
he sets me little challenges. Yeah, that'll be very soon.
So I don't know if we've spoken about it before. Buying a house and being a freelancer, are you having to like talk to your bank and they're like, okay, put this money aside?
Well, here's the fun part. I can't go into the specifics, but the situation I was in prior to starting my business, it was not ideal at the time, but on paper it looks like I've been self-employed for the entire time because they were contracting.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you weren't getting super.
Yeah. So on paper it looks like I've been running my business for like 7 years.
Yeah,
that's
great.
Yeah.
It's so weird, isn't it? Like I think about like where the future is going in regards to how people work. And then you think about how people access money to be able to do things like buy houses and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Do you think about, Tommy and I catch ourselves doing, we will do this when this thing happens or that thing happens. Buying a house is such a big thing. You could say, I know like friends that have been going to buy a house and they're like collecting things for the interior of their house and they're keeping it in a room at their parents' house in preparation for when they move.
I've got a glory box, but that's apparently the old word.
That's an old school.
Yeah, because my parents said that to me, and I was like,
it's like
whoa.
when you get handed over or something.
And then there was some sort of weird sex thing. Yeah, no, but because I get like I've done.
Is your chastity belt in there as well?
Yeah, long gone. I threw it in the creek actually.
Yeah, it's actually in Koonung Creek with everyone else's.
Yeah, and all of the men. No, so we've got a glory box because I've done a lot of work for like crystal brands. I've got all this like beautiful glassware and linens and
ready for a house.
Yeah, but I like using nice things when I get them.
Is that what you want, a house?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so have you thought about like what's the dream around that then? Like is it painful being like for most people I guess the transition of being at your parents' place before moving and all that sort of thing has some level of friction to it. Even if you love living at home, I'm guessing there's the friction then, which is the opposite of like, actually don't know if I want to leave. I don't know what that's going to mean. What about even live? Are you going to be, so you and Chris are buying together, are you?
Yeah.
And so living together, with your partner.
Yeah.
Have you thought about all of that fun stuff? Sharing
we've been
things
together for 8.5 years.
But the difference between living, have you spent much time living together?
Yeah, well, there was a period of time where he was living in Rosebud, so he lived with us for, yeah, we'll be fine.
But what are you
He's
looking?
easy to get along
What
with.
are you looking at in regards to all of that, though? In regards to that transition, what do you think will be the biggest shift in Gemma Watts as a person?
Nothing. I reckon Gemma Watts as a person is
pretty. Will you have your own liquor cabinet or?
Oh yeah, I really want one of the bar carts.
Oh yeah.
But I want one that is round this way. Do you know what I mean? I've got a Pinterest board.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Hey, you're not going to Kmart. This is going to be a higher end
I'll
one.
get a bit of Kmart, but also I reckon I can do a Beck Judd style series where I go room by room.
Great.
Yeah.
Will you do like what Chella?
Yeah, but I'll give it a different name.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Yeah. What about like the big what out, like the big day out?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, we'll maybe work on that.
What's another festival? Sebs?
Go Whatappalooza.
Whatappalooza. Oh, that's good.
I like that one.
We had one of my best friends turn 30 in January, and she works in like music publicity, and her parents own an olive farm. So we had Mamo Day. Her surname's Mamo. We all call her Mamo. So she had Mamo Days. Remember Summer Days?
Summer Days,
You would have been there.
No, I actually never went.
What?
I'm glad I didn't.
That feels very on brand for you.
I went to like early days of Future Music Festival when it was at the
Stereowotic.
Stereosonic there.
We can work on it.
We had Mamo Day as a 2-day festival, and I filmed it. Actually, you'd be thrilled with
amazing.
it. I'm not very good at video,
All
but
copyrighted music.
Yes. And then we got... So we all know each other from dancing. So our other best friend put on like crazy costumes, and we just got her to dance in the middle of this olive farm, and I did a video. It's really good. So I'll send it to you.
What are you craving then, like in regards to that house thing? Like, are you going to have a... So you were talking about buying a house in 2 months.
It's space, because I've got like... It sounds like such a wanky problem to have. Maybe this is why people think I'm such a wanker. Obviously, my job is... A lot of it is reviewing beauty products. I am pretty organised, and I like to have a system with the way everything's set up, but at the moment there's like just different things in different
What's in the
rooms.
Bungalow? Or what's in
the bungalow at the moment? Well, wine and also products from the Christmas gift guide. So there's stuff that I'm like giving as, little extra prezzies, and then also some stuff that I'm undecided if I'll keep or if I'll gift. Then in the spare room there's the stuff that I definitely want to keep or I still have to work with, or I have to take photos or review it or whatever. And then also in the bungalow there's a separate cupboard of stuff that's going to like the women's shelter, that's going to like the different charities I'll give stuff to. So there's a lot, and it's just all spread out.
What about having an office one day? Is that something you want?
Eventually, because I'll hire. Like financially, I'm in a position where I could have hired this year, but I would rather.
But Mr. 97 was taken.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. But I just don't think I'd be a very good manager at this stage. I would want to learn how to be better at that.
How do you do that without wasting heaps of cash?
Probably just
wasting heaps of cash.
I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
3-day deals.
Is there
figuring it out.
Is there anything that like you think about like a community and friendship group? Is there anything that we could all be doing more to supporting you, or like is there anything that like...
No, I wouldn't have you around if I didn't think you were of value to me.
Hashtag strategy.
Wanker.
Yeah, no, but I think it's so like I think that we've seen like the power in having like the Gronk Squad and people like you, that
having people around you helps.
Yeah, and you see that when you do an event, because we've both done one in the last few months. It's the bloody best feeling in the whole world.
We definitely want to do more.
Yeah, same. I reckon I'm going to do seasonal now, because the big will not issue from my point of view, but from people that tried to buy tickets, they sold out in 45 seconds. So people were like, you need to do a bigger event next time. I don't think I do. I think that size worked really well, because I got to speak to every single person. So I think I keep it intimate. And the other thing, being a beauty event, you want the goodie bags to be top notch.
Yeah.
A lot easier to go to a brand and say, hey, it'd be 65 really engaged people.
Not 250. Yeah. Actually, what we should do, so it's episode, what number is it? 555.
Ooh, that's a nice number.
What date is it in 45 days?
From today?
It's Thursday, The 6th of February 2020.
So the 6th of Feb, it's episode 600.
Yep.
I feel like we could maybe work towards doing another event.
600 every 100?
Yeah.
I reckon.
What's that, every 3 months?
Yeah.
2, 4, 6,
Yeah.
no more, every 4 months. That's
three
quite a
and a
long
bit
time
months.
between.
And
I
so
reckon I'm going to
doable.
do maybe seasonal.
Okay.
Thursday night, you did yours on a Thursday night.
Yeah, it worked out
Good
nicely.
night.
Thursday's my favourite night.
Yeah.
Thursday's the new Friday.
Should we
it?
do
As
8079
Shuckers
again,
is.
or should we do something else?
That worked out beautifully.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I think
And
we
I
should.
think it made sense because you guys have obviously got a nice relationship with them.
Maybe like we were thinking potentially like charging just to make sure that it gets filled.
How much?
Yeah, should we charge?
I don't know. This is
20
where I'm
bucks?
no good because I definitely
Well, we're actually not going
undercharged for my event. That's why it sold out
from
so
your
quickly.
learnings, because we're not going to think about it outside of this conversation. This is actually the organisational meeting. Welcome, guys. Thanks for coming. Ep 600 launch. How much?
Well, you've got to do your spreadsheet. So
Yeah.
I didn't make any money off my event.
Uh-huh.
And in retrospect, I could have.
So
So just work out your costs first.
I guess if we had like 80 people paying at $20, that's $1,600. And then there's
That covers the
probably
event.
But did you have to pay out of pocket for stuff?
so we only had to pay out of pocket our lighting and speakers,
Okay.
so it was $400. But the venue would have cost heaps if we'd actually
Yeah, so I
paid for that
venue,
or
photographer, videographer, flowers.
Yeah.
A lot of it was mates' rates.
yeah. And so I guess if we, it's interesting. But I guess it just creates a bit of tension to be able to make sure that everyone who secures a ticket shows up, and it means that we can potentially.
What about
How many
Brings-
no-shows did you have?
Well, we had
But they were
like a couple of
free.
people who, because they were
Yeah.
free, we just had a few of those ones where it's like someone had booked 6 tickets and then they don't show. Gronk move.
Yes, we know.
But the
who
thing
that
is,
was.
if it was just had a little bit of catch, it would like because we still had like 70 people. We
Yeah, it
could
was
have
a bloody
had
good night.
we could have had 100.
Yeah.
And so what I'd love to do, I wonder how you do it so that you could almost overfill. Like I'd love to have 105 potentials with having some
people
flow.
paying customers usually come.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
that's the whole difference.
You overflow if it's free
Yeah.
because then you've got the Gronks that don't come.
But I only had one person the day before who was one of my girlfriends. She was sick and she's like, I'm not going to be able to make it. So there was a wait list.
And
Right.
you saw the
Eventbrite.
ticket for $1,000, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll just go down the wait list because it was the day of. I thought no one's going to be free and no one's going to check their emails. Snapped up within another 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So it worked out nicely. But as long as you've got a wait list, if people ask for a refund, you just reissue it.
The guy just walked past with a fishing rod. Where's he off to?
Catching that, he just needs a net just to catch that one.
Dead fish
There's
right behind
another,
us.
if you go along that track where I reckon the snakes are, that could be fun. It's also turtle
Season.
Yeah, there was
Great.
a sign that we would have walked past.
Glow Journal
Hang on, are they
doing
turtles
turtle
over there?
season.
Yeah,
Are they turtles? No, they're rocks.
because I said that to
turtles?
Pete and he loves turtles.
Really?
Yeah.
Seems like a turtle kind of guy.
Mr. 97's burning up.
Yep. Have you not put sunscreen on?
No,
He
he
did,
has
I watched him
sunscreen
do
on, but he
it.
still
Okay.
looks. He's
Doesn't
looking
that
like
sound
a lobster.
creepy? Yeah, I
Okay.
watched him
It's the
put
Daily
his
Talk Show, everyone. Hi,
sunscreen on.
thedailytalkshow.com is the email address. Make sure you check out Gem's podcast Glow Journal with the season 2 starting when?
January 15. Is that a
Yeah.
Wednesday?
Sounds
6th
probably
is
right.
Monday. So
Yeah.
what's the following?
maths? I don't know, man.
That sounds about right.
Great.
Yeah, sounds about right.
All right. Anyway, see you tomorrow, and then on
See you
Christmas Day, we'll have Gem, Scooter
Wonder if I'll have
Derek,
changed my outfit
and
by
Tall
then.
Gronk. No, I think you'll probably wear the same. All right. See you tomorrow, guys.
See you guys.